I don't know about anybody else, but this is how I feel today. I feel like I'm sitting at the bus stop, waiting for the bus with a bag of fish. I don't know where the bus is, and I don't know if the fish are going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it home with fish that are still alive. So let's talk about the Virgo full moon.
Hello, neighborhood mystics, and welcome to your weekly tarot reading for the week of March 12th through the 18th of 2017. So I thought what I'd focus on today is the full moon happening today, the 12th, at 22 degrees of Virgo Pisces. So I think I mentioned last week that perhaps something's coming to fruition in your Virgo house that has to do with your hard work, patience, and attention to detail, or maybe not. This full moon is square Saturn in Sagittarius. Not real tight by 5 degrees, but it is square. So you may be feeling a little depressed or down or frustrated as well. The sun in Pisces is conjunct Chiron, also adding to it. So I know I am feeling a little down, very worn out. I really feel very burnt out, very tired, and just kind of like, oh, just kind of a general sick of everything kind of thing going on. So you may be feeling that way too, and no, it will pass, because things always do. So, all right, so let's talk about this full moon for everybody. I'm working with the Gaian because the Gaian is always very kind. It's a very kind deck, and so I'm not in the mood for any terribly harsh messages today. So we're going to keep it earthy in honor of Virgo and good with the Gaian. So, all right, so for this full moon, interestingly, we start out with the moon card here in the East. And we've got the Temperance card in the West. So what I'm seeing here is with the moon, I think we're talking about cycles. So we're in a cycle of fruition, and the moon's going to start waning for 2 weeks. So that means the energy is going to start to dissipate. So if you've been going like a Gussie for the last couple weeks or so, and you've been really pushing hard, now it's time to ease up off the gas pedal a little bit, because things are waning. So under the waning mood, things do not grow. It's a time to release things. It's a time to put effort into things that you don't want to increase. And we're moving towards temperance in the West. So temperance always brings up some kind of healing. And as I mentioned, the sun is conjunct Chiron. So if there's any kind of, healing, Chiron has to do with these early childhood wounds that you just, in what ways you don't feel good about yourself, in what ways you don't feel worthy, in what ways you feel rejected. So it may be time for the next couple weeks to work on that a little bit. And temperance, I always see temperance very much as a creative force, a creative card. So, what I would say is you already have everything you need. You just need to kind of combine things. So that's kind of what I was doing this morning. I was working on something, and I go, okay, let me work on this element. Let me work on that element. But I'm not gonna want anything to be perfect or to be done right now. I'm just gonna work on the parts. So that's my advice there with the moon and temperance. Our other polarity here in the In the north, we have the Guardian of Fire, and in the south, we have the Explorer of Earth, I believe. Let me move this card. Yes, it's the Explorer of Earth. We've got this smoldering fire here with this Guardian of Fire. That's what jumps out to me. And the man there is tending the fire. So, like I said, energy is waning, but we still need to tend our fire. And I think this perhaps is where we've got the square to Saturn coming in, because this square to Saturn, Pisces is about the ideal, Virgo is about the practical, and Sagittarius is about the vision. So it's like we still need to keep tending our vision. And maybe we can back off on the Virgo stuff a little bit, and we can not be so idealistic on the Pisces end, and not be so ready to just throw ourselves under the bus if things aren't exactly how we want it. And just just tend that little fire you have going for your vision of what is it that you want your future to look like? What is it that you're trying to create? And just tend that fire. I don't know if you've ever done that, if you've ever been on a camp out or whatever, and you've tended a fire all night. It doesn't take a lot. Once a fire is made, keeping it going doesn't take a lot. So that's what we're talking about. Nice, steady. Keep the fire going. Don't let it go out. If you kind of catch it going out, run over there with a few more sticks and you got it going back. And it's not a big deal. At the top of the reading, we have the Explorer of Earth. So, in the Gaian, this particular version of this card, which would be the Knight of Pentacles elsewhere, I feel like it really is kind of speaking about feeling your way forward rather than pushing your way forward. So once again, we're getting this message that we need to kind of just slow down just a little bit. Just slow down a little bit. Feel your way forward. And then in the middle of the reading, we have the Six of Water. So the Six of Water, this is stop and smell the roses. We've got Mars and Taurus, so it's kind of a stop and smell the roses time. So if you can, get together with friends, with family, or just go do something that you enjoy doing. And that's how you can get through this full moon in the next 2 weeks until we begin our next lunar cycle, which will be a new moon in Aries, I believe. So that's exciting, because we're going to start a whole new year, whole new cycle. So wrap up, release, stop and smell the roses, and keep that fire of your vision tended as you move forward. Now, what I wanted to do from here is I want to talk about just a real quick reading for each of the signs, but not all 12 signs. I've got them grouped. So I've got the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So I was just gonna pull 3 cards and see kind of what. Oh, that one's full of energy. The Tower, or lightning. We've got the Six of Fire. We got more energy here. And the Five of Water. Okay, so this is kind of like what the new moon is about for you, earth signs, what you may be dealing with. So with the Tower, we've got a shock or surprise. Something unexpected happened. Something blew up. This could be an angry outburst. So we've got that to deal with. And then we've got the six of fire. So this is, it's a lot of electricity and excitement. But then we have the Five of Water, or the Five of Cups. So there's some disappointment. There's some earth signs. There's some disappointment that you're dealing with. So whether it's that things just didn't work out the way you wanted them to, or it's like things are not where you want them to be right at this moment type of thing. There's changes in choice points. That's what it looks like to me. So I feel like your emotions are fluctuating, and you have choice points about where to put your energy. So like I said, something became a dead end or blew up or got confused or exploded or something. So now you have a choice about where you're going to put your energy from here on out for the next 2 weeks. So that's what you should be thinking about before we start the next cycle when we enter into Aries, is what's worked. That's what I would say. What worked, what hasn't worked, what was good, what was bad. And I'm trying to key into the emotional part here. I guess just make sure that that your emotions have a say here, so that you're not just driving forward without checking in on the emotions, because maybe your emotions are lagging a little bit, and so there's something to be learned from that. Earth signs, Toro, I'm speaking Spanish, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on to who's next. We've got fire signs. Okay, let's see what it looks like for fire signs. All right, fire signs. Whew, I got the 7 of fire. There's a lot of fire going on here. We've got the 8 of air and the canoe. So we got 2 7s and an 8. So whenever I see this particular 7 of fire, 7 of wands in this deck, I mean, you can't help but look at that image and say, strike while the iron is hot. And the canoe is talking about, keep the focus on the goals. Keep the focus on the goals. Now, with the 8 of air, I think this kind of same theme is coming up. That came up with the earth signs, that it's like you have this drive and this ambition and this movement, but there's like somebody that hasn't been able to have their say, kind of thing. And with this 8 of air, it could be something that needs to be talked out or talked through, written down. It needs to be analyzed, that sort of a thing. So there's, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you've got the fiery moving forward, and that's good, but it's like maybe you haven't put this down in a business plan, or you haven't put it down in a request, or you haven't put it in a contract. That kind of thing, where so there's an element here, I think, that needs to be a little more black and white and a little more talked through. So it's not like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to make it to the championship and all this, and there's really no strategy behind the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? When it's like we get everybody pumped up and like, yeah, we're doing it. And then like 3 weeks later, it's like everybody's like everywhere and no one knows what's going on, because there was no underpinnings underneath it. So I think that's what this 8 of air is talking about, is like get your underpinnings and kind of get this fire contained, so that it's not just going to spread out over the grass and then burn out. That'd be my advice to you, fire signs, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Okay, next let's talk about air signs. Air. All right. What do we got for air here? We've got 4 of fire. We have got 9 of water. And I'm reading everything up right, because like I said, I'm tired this weekend, so we're keeping everything simple and we're keeping it good. And we've got the star. Okay, so this is pretty inspirational here. air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. All right, air signs, it looks like what's going on here is that you have stood your ground and you have created some boundaries and you have marked your territory and you have created sacred space for yourself. And you have, you see what I'm saying? You like staked your claim somewhere and you put down your markers and said, this is the boundaries of my property and this is where my house is going to be. And so everybody else, you got to look for something else because this has been claimed. So that's good because with the first two, with fire and earth, there needed to be a little bit of boundaries set up. But here you've got your boundaries set up, air signs. And so it's time for you to open up and receive. With the 9 of water and the star, that's what this is about. This is about opening up, receiving, asking for what you want, dreaming the big dreams, wishing on a star, and just renewing yourself with this ever-present source of energy and renewal and inspiration, and just being open to whatever comes. So that's what your job is for the next couple of weeks, is to just open up and receive and be inspired and keep it going. Keep that sense of hope and highest ideals and wishes and everything coming in so it can fill that space that you created with that 4 of fire by accomplishing something and standing your ground. So lastly, we have the water signs. We've got Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio. All right, so what's up for you guys? Lover's card, Explorer of fire, and Explorer of water. Okay, so fire and water. Fire and water, fire and water. Okay, so, you're expanding on a couple different levels. There may be a new relationship in the works. I mean, I can't help to think that with the Lover's card and the Explorer of water, that, that there's a relationship in the works on the horizon here. And so, you have the opportunity to expand into a relationship. If it's not that, you have the opportunity to expand into new emotional territory. And with this Explorer of fire, it's an opportunity to expand your creativity. So, I don't know. I'm almost seeing this as like a really huge art project, or there's something multi-leveled about it. Like I said, with the fire and the water, it is just some kind of multi-leveled expansion. There could be somebody that you meet that's very inspiring and very fiery and very, they're an actor and they just seem to be able to express themselves, and you admire that, or something. There may be some kind of mirroring going on here. So, I would just say, be open and have fun with it, because there is definitely an opportunity for expansion here. Even though, like I said at the beginning, I said we're in a waning moon, and then energy is waning, and it's going away. It's not time for new things to grow. I think in your case, new things are growing, and I think there's a certain mirroring going on, where just things that you come across in your environment, where whether it's people or books or whatever it would be, it's kind of mirroring something in yourself, and you need to check it out. You need to explore it with these explorers and explore what excites you and explore what makes you go deep into something, and just kind of like surf and ride with it and see where it goes, and what opportunities it opens up for you. So that's very interesting, I think, and I hope this has been helpful to everybody. Happy full moon, and I will see you next week. And also, if you like these videos, please subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. Until next time, adios.